Welcome to the Every Brain is Different podcast. It is Samantha and Lauren with you, and happy summer. Woo. Yeah, I have all the kids home, and I love it. But at the same time, I am getting no work done. So
Right?
that's fun. But
Probably a little overwhelming,
yes,
chaotic.
yes, I'm very overwhelmed.
Schedules of muck.
And my daughter was like, "When am I going back to school?" And I said, "You're not going back to school for like 2 more months." And she's like, "What?" And so they're missing their routine. I'm missing their routine. We're just getting used to it. We're just getting used to it, you know? And speaking of chaos and all of that, we went on a road trip last week. We went down to southern Utah. It's about 8 or 9 hour drive. And we stopped by an amusement park on the way there. And so we're going to talk over the next few weeks about road tripping. One, what do you do with your kids while you're road tripping in the car? What do you do when you're actually on the vacation to make it go smoothly? And what do you do the day after you get home to make it go
Hopefully
smoothly?
nothing.
Yeah.
I feel
And
like it should
that's
be
the whole
nothing,
point.
but I don't know.
The day after you get home, don't plan anything. Like, definitely have a routine. If your kid needs a routine, stick to your routine, but don't plan extras.
Yeah.
That's
The morning brushing your teeth, eating routine, like the typical stuff, but
but don't plan like doctor's appointments or therapies, and if you can take the day off of work. But we'll talk about that later. But today we're talking about the actual road trip part when you're on the road. And I will say, this last trip was the least annoyed I have ever been on a road trip. So we did something right. Usually when we get in the car, it's like immediate fights. Someone needs to use the bathroom. Someone lost their favorite toy. Someone needs something, and I'm questioning why we ever went in the first place. Like, why are we
why
here?
I did
Why
this
are
to
we here right now?
myself.
Yeah. So, and those things definitely still happen, but we had a plan for them this time. And it went a lot smoother. But road trips can be challenging for kids with autism, especially because there's changes in routine, unpredictability. Like, what if you hit traffic and so you're in the car longer than you told your kid you would be in the car for? That happened to us last time, and that was awful. What if you get a flat tire? What if there's so many what ifs? So it's very unpredictable. There's sensory challenges. Like, if you have a kid that needs to get up and move a lot, that can be challenging for them to be in the car. Or what if you have a kid that gets car sick? Dramamine is our best friend because my kids do get car sick. And since we started giving them Dramamine, they don't throw up anymore. And that's amazing.
Yay!
Yeah. And then kids also have limited control and autonomy in the car. Like, they don't get to decide what they're going to do for the most part. They have to sit there. They have to sit there and
They're
just
kind of stuck.
Yeah, they're stuck. So just remember, when you're on a road trip, the goal for you and your child is regulation, not everything going smoothly, not everything going perfectly. So a successful road trip starts before you even get in the car because you got to plan things. Like this time, we had a bag for each kid. We told the kids where they were going to be sitting before we got in the car. And I think that was the biggest thing
Help.
that that was the biggest help because they knew where they were sitting and they didn't argue about it once they got in the car. I said, "You're going to be sitting here, you're going to be sitting here, you're going to be sitting here." No one likes sitting in the middle. So I said, "We're going to switch out. Like, you're not going to be sitting in the middle the whole time. There will be other things." But yeah, so we also had their comfort items. My husband let them take way too many comfort items, but they like to be squeezed in, I guess, because they took all the blankets and all the pillows, and it actually went really smooth. And then we had water and snacks available for them. Like, we had a big snack bag. I would recommend putting snacks in individual bags. We didn't do that. But if your kids like their individual snacks, definitely do that. And then we had a water bottle for each of them next to where they were sitting. So that's the major things that we did this time, but we're going to get more into it now about why road trips are hard and then what we can do for those things that make it hard. So we already talked about predictability disappearing. They don't know when they're going to arrive. You can set a GPS, but we know where we're going. Like, we knew where we were going on this road trip, but we did set a GPS just to show the kids, like, you do not ask me when we're going to be there until this time has passed.
Yeah. It's the number one question.
Yeah.
How much longer? Are we there yet?
And that has dramatically reduced how much my kids ask, are we there yet? Are we there yet? How much time left? And they are at the age where they can look at the clock and know, like, the GPS says 1:37. Mom said I can't ask if we're there yet until after 1:37, you know? And so that has dramatically reduced that. If you have kids that are like 3 years old, 1 year old, these suggestions,
tough luck.
That suggestion is not for you. But for older kids, I do say, do not ask me if we're there yet until this time has passed. And that's been pretty good for them.
We're excited to try that one.
Yeah.
With my boyfriend's kids, because that's the number one complaint.
Yeah, yeah. And then if my kids said they were hungry, because they don't know when they're going to eat, they don't know when they're going to stop, they don't know what's happening next. And so that's what's hard for them. Because I know with me, like, if I don't know when I'm eating next, I get grumpy because I want to know what the next meal is. And so when we go down to southern Utah, we have a pretty, like, our kids know the stops because we do it so much. But you could say, like, if you were planning it out a different road trip, like if we went up to Washington instead of down to Utah, we don't go that way as much. So we'd have to really plan it out and be like, don't ask me for food until after this time. We're going to stop in this town and then set the GPS to that town, you know? But those are just some suggestions for that because it's hard for them not to know when they're going to stop or when they're going to eat or whatever. And then sensory overload builds during road trips. So they might be in the sun, sitting on the side of the car with the sun, and the bright sunlight drives them crazy. We have put blankets in the windows before. You can have shades. Right now, when we got our car, we put super dark tint on the windows for that reason, because my kids are really sensitive to the sunlight. And so we put super dark tint on the windows so that it's not a problem anymore. But if you can't do that, before when we had our old car, we put like blankets or sheets or something in the window so that it's not, the sun isn't baking them. And then there's road noise that can overload sensory systems, car vibrations, smells. I know when we're going down to Utah, there's a lot of ranches, there's a lot of feedlots with cows, and the smell.
Yeah.
Like, I can't smell, but my family notices the smell. And they're like, oh, what is that? And luckily, you're in a car and you're driving, so you're going to get past it soon. But if there's a smell in the car, then you have to deal with that. But yeah, so that can, overwhelm. And then this is the number one thing in my family is siblings talking. So if one person wants silence and the other sibling is talking, they've got issues. And so what I say, and this is just teaching your kid boundaries, like, we have noise canceling headphones that they can listen to something. We tell the person who wants silence, like, yes, you may want silence, but they don't have to be quiet. Like, if they need something, they can talk and say they need something. It's different if they're not talking. Like, say we're in the car and my daughter wants to talk to me, but her brother wants silence. She can still talk to me. Her brother doesn't get to dictate when she talks, but he can dictate when he is spoken to. So he can say, I don't want to talk right now. I don't want to have a conversation. Please don't talk to me. And we need to help my daughter
respect that.
Respect that. Yeah, because he's made that boundary. But he doesn't get to decide if she talks at all. It's just if she talks to him. And then there's ways of dampening the noise so that he doesn't hear her as loudly. Like, we bought noise canceling headphones for all of our kids. and they connect to their devices. So, you know what the number one tip? Just get a device. Just get a device.
Ain't no shame in the device game.
You know, just if
Especially
you're
for a road trip.
if you're on a road trip for 9 hours, just get a device. These other things do help, but okay, I'm just going to say it. That is the number one thing to do. Like,
save your sanity.
yeah, save your sanity. And I'm not saying give your kids devices all the time at home, but I know families that their kid only gets a device when they're on a plane, a train, a car, some type of motor vehicle. And then it really entertains the kids because they never get it except when they're on those things. And you can do with devices what you will, but that is the number one tip. Like, just because
and you
then
don't have to do it the
distracts
whole
them.
trip.
Yeah, you don't have to do it the whole trip. Like, my kids brought books. We always bring books. We always bring little fidget things, and we always bring devices. And they're not on their device the whole time, but it does help. And then maybe when you don't have service, they can get on the other things and not their device, because that did happen a few times where we didn't have service and they're like, I don't have internet. And I'm like, well, no one has internet right now. Sorry.
Sorry.
So yes, those are some things you can do for that. And then movement needs, if your kid needs to move a lot and they can't in the car, you just need to take more breaks. Like, I know it's going to take longer to get there, but there's rest stops along the way. You could go to like a McDonald's with a play area in it, just different things like that. Just stop and you can make it fun. Like, I have these movement cards, and you just pick a movement card and do the movement. So you could get out and be like, okay, exercise break. We're going to do squats and lunges and whatever. Or you can just get out and let them play tag or just walk around or do whatever. But really get the movement breaks in for regulation, because sitting requires effort. And then while they're sitting there, their energy is building and building and building and building, and they're getting dysregulated. And then they blow up when one little thing happens because their body's so dysregulated because they haven't been moving. Now, our family philosophy is just get to where you're going, but my kids can handle that. And so we just get in the car and we go, unless someone has to pee or we have to eat. And that works for us. But if your kids need a lot of movement, just plan on your trip taking an extra hour or two so you can stop and get the movement breaks in that you need.
We had to do that on a recent road trip. Some kiddos, ADHD for dad and child.
Oh, yeah.
There was lots of stops to just embrace the nature outside for a few minutes. We're getting back in the car, and it helps. So
yeah, or you could go like on what's it called, scavenger hunt, outside, like at a rest stop or something, or just stop somewhere and do something fun at a park. We've stopped when my kids were younger. We did do a lot of stops, and we'd stop at parks, we'd stop at rest stops, we'd stop at all different kinds of places. We'd go to museums along the way. I mean, the trip took longer, but it was better for them and they were more regulated. So, and why not enjoy the trip down there? Like, I was just telling my husband, every time we go down to Utah, we just get down there and there's so many things to see along the way. That you could just plan that into your trip and just, we actually drove down to the amusement park and then drove down to Southern Utah from the amusement park. The amusement park was about halfway. But what we could have done if we didn't have a time crunch was go to the amusement park. It was like 4 or 5 hours away from our house. Do that, stay the night there, and then move on from there and go the rest of the way the next day. And that's what we were going to do, but we're in a time crunch. We had to get down there for a family event. But that's definitely something you do. Just break it up more. But anyway. And always remember, your child is not being difficult. They're not giving you a hard time. They're having a hard time. And that happens on car trips too. So, yeah. But here are some things that you can do before you leave is create a visual roadmap. So you can show them on an actual map where you live and where you're going, stops that you're going to make along the way, and then approximate timing. So you can say it should take us, 3 hours to get from here to here, 2 hours to get from here to here, and just show them stops along the way and visually show them what you're going to do and make a visual schedule. You can make a visual schedule. You can put it on a printed map. You can do a simple checklist, and then they can have that checklist in the car. So, for example, when we go down to Utah, we start in Boise and then we stop in Burley, Idaho every time, except this last time when my husband thought the exit was closed and it wasn't. And that was annoying because I really needed to stop. But anyway, we stop in Burley and then you say, okay, we're going to stop in Burley. We're going to get gas here. We're not going to get food. We're going to get gas and we're going to get out of the car and run around for a minute. And then we're going to go from Burley to this rest area. And then we're going to stop and we're going to have a movement break. And then they can check off so they can see how many things are left as they happen. And that's just my tip for that. And then you can practice the trip. So you can look at pictures, you can talk through the plan, review expectations. So when we're in the car, we're going to do this. Like, I'm going to bring your book. I'm going to bring this. I'm going to bring this toy. I'm going to bring this. This is what you're going to be doing in the car. And then when we stop, you're going to be able to get out and run around and we're going to play this game and maybe get a special game or whatever. And then we're going to get back in the car and you're going to do this, this, and this. And then we're going to stop and we're going to do this and just review all the expectations before even getting in the car so they know what to expect. Especially if you don't normally go on road trips or you only go on road trips like once a year.
Yeah.
My kids are used to driving because we go all over the place. But if your kids, if you don't really go on road trips, this is especially important if you're going like once a year or you've never done a road trip or something like that. And then pack regulation tools first. So we talked about snacks and entertainment. Those are important. But before that, you need headphones, sunglasses. Do you need a weighted lap pad for them? Will that help them calm down? Favorite comfort items, fidgets, jewelry, blankets, whatever. And then obviously get your snacks, obviously get your entertainment, but pack your regulators first.
Yeah.
And then let kids help. So you can ask them, what snacks do you want to bring? You can take them to the store. If that's too overwhelming for them, you can just ask them what their favorite snacks are. You can ask them what activities they want to bring. You can ask them what comfort items they want to bring. I always tell my kids, go get whatever you want to bring, put it in the living room, and then we'll go through it because they always get way too much stuff. And then we go through it and we decide what they're going to bring. This last time, my daughter just snuck everything in the car. I did not pack the car. My husband packed the car and he just let everything stay. It worked out, but it was a lot of stuff. So asking them to help, though, can help with buy-in and autonomy where they feel like they're part of the process instead of just being told what to do. And we always say this, but prevention is better than reaction. So how can we prevent meltdowns instead of just reacting to them? Besides everything that we've talked about, some early warning signs of an incoming meltdown might be increased arguing, repetitive questions, complaining about siblings, excessive silliness, which is always surprising to people. But if your kid starts like being really, really silly, a meltdown might be coming. Yes. Or just complete withdrawal where they just don't respond or anything. And so they might be trying to control themselves, but then one little thing happens and they explode. So just be aware of those things, or your child best. Be observant of what's going on with them because you know the signs of a meltdown. So what's happening before a meltdown so that you can intervene before they have the big escalation. Some regulation strategies are snack breaks, a music change, quiet time, movement stop. Like if you need to do an unplanned movement stop because your kid's going to lose it, do an unplanned movement stop. You might have to pull over and do deep pressure on them. roll down the window or get some more cool air or warmer air or switching seats if you need to. But just remember that meltdowns rarely come out of nowhere. They're usually building over time.
Yeah.
And so just be aware of what's going on with your kid and then intervene before it becomes a big escalation. And then if you're looking for some ideas of entertainment, when I was little, we didn't have movies or anything like that. And I got car sick when I would read. And so I traveled with my grandparents and my mom a lot. My grandma would always buy an audiobook because that was back in the day when you had to get them on cassette tapes.
Yeah.
And she would buy an audiobook on our way down there. Like we'd stop at this one store and she'd buy an audiobook and we'd listen to that book the whole way down there. And then she'd buy another one on the way back. So that was my favorite thing. But today you can listen to audiobooks. We've done that before. You can listen to podcasts, you can get sticker books, magnetic activities, drawing tables. You can do road trip games like bingo, or we play a game where you have to do the alphabet and you find words that start with the letters. So you find a word that starts with A, and then you find a word that starts with B, and you go down, like you have to find them on signs. Or we do this game where you have to just say a word. You have to say a thing that starts with that letter, and you can't repeat yourself, and you can't repeat what other people say. So you just go around the alphabet. Like I'll say ant, A is for ant, B is for bat, C is for cat, and just keep going around. And that gets kids involved and entertained. My son came up with this game where we do numbers, but that is really hard once you get past 9 because then you have to find the numbers. And we do play that game, but then he's like, we have to go to 100, and we never get to 100. We got to 77 one time, though. So
it's impressive.
Cool. But you can do road trip games. Like that's what I grew up doing.
I Spy.
Yeah, I Spy. Ooh, I Spy is a good one. And then all the device time without guilt. Whatever you want. No shame. Oh, my son is listening, and he just told me to remind people of the number game. So we talked about that. Oh, he said letter game, but we talked about that too. So remember, with devices, if screens help your child stay regulated, regulation is the goal.
Yes.
So just no shame, no guilt. If your kid needs 8 hours of iPad time in a car, just do it. Like, it's fine. You're not going to ruin him by a couple days a year, giving him all the iPad time. So there are times when your child might just straight up refuse. So refuse to get in the car, refuse to leave a stop, refuse to do planned activities, repetitively ask, are we there yet? And instead of saying stop complaining or stop talking or whatever, validate first, be curious, and problem solve together. So for example, are we there yet? That is the number one thing that kids say. Say, I understand that instead of saying, stop complaining, stop asking that, I don't want to hear that again, because those are common things that people say. You could say, I understand you're sick of being in the car. I'm tired of being in the car. It's really boring in the car. What can we do right now? How can I help you be entertained in the car? Do we need to play a game? Do you want iPad time? Do you want your sticker book? Do you want this? And problem solve together instead of just saying, stop asking. Because it's not solving the problem if you're just saying, stop asking. Like they're not asking because they're so entertained and they're so not bored, you know?
Yeah.
And then just remember that their body needs something in that moment, whether it's a movement break, whether it's whatever they need. And so you can problem solve together to find it. And then for your regulation, just remember that you also have regulation needs on a road trip. And so if you don't get those needs met, you might respond to your kid in a non-productive way. Yeah, not so nice way. So think, Do you need a snack? Do you need a movement break? Are your expectations realistic? Like, are you expecting your kids to sit in the back and you plan so well, you have snack boxes for them, you had their water for them, you have whatever, you have all the entertainment options for them, and you just expect them to sit in the back and entertain themselves for 8 hours?
You're delusional.
Are those expectations realistic?
Realist.
And just don't set yourself up for failure. So, and then here are our takeaways from today that I hope you can take away. Predictability reduces anxiety. So make the trip as predictable as possible. Regulation tools matter more than entertainment. And then movement breaks are not optional for many kids. So just build that in to your trip. If you need to leave a little bit earlier than planned, leave a little bit earlier. And then comfort items are supports, not crutches. So they're not going to become codependent on a comfort item just because they bring it on a road trip. And then a successful road trip does not mean no meltdowns. It means fewer meltdowns maybe than you had the last time. But if your kid has a meltdown, you're not a failure as a parent. Like, road trips are hard. And then success means everyone getting there with their dignity intact, including yourself.
Yes.
So those are the tips. And if you want more, definitely email us. Go to everybrainisdifferent.com and you can join the parenting community there. You can contact us, whatever you need. And yeah.
If you have your own tips for road trips, let us know. Sure.
Yeah. If you have your own tips, I would love to hear them. I'm always looking for more tips. So definitely. Yeah. Cool. Well, my kids are home right now and they've decided that I've been away from them long enough. So we will see you next week.
Bye.